everyone, it's Emily from Earthbound Crystals. In today's video, I'm going to give you some tips on how to stand out in market stalls. So the first thing you want to know is how to attract people. Obviously, you want an eye-catching market stall and you want it to showcase your items without looking boring. So there's a few things that we can go through in this video to help explain how I personally make my market stall very eye-catching and how to get lots of people to come in and have a look. So the first thing we're going to talk about is displays. With a good market stall, you'll need displays, as it is like the main thing to showcase your products. Whether you're selling candles, jewelry, clothing, whatever, you will need good displays. So I like to integrate a lot of wooden and earthy tones to help promote my crystals. You'll also want to make your stall very eye-catching. Basically, I use shelves and different things to do different heights. It's very eye-catching. People find the different heights to be more appealing, and it's just visually better. And you don't want to go into a market stall and everything's flat on the table. It's not really appealing. So to have the different height makes it just that little bit more eye-catching and a little bit more professional. So the things that I personally use for my displays, I use my 3-tiered shelves, which are very great for markets, as you can pull them apart and they're very compact and very easy to set up and pack down. They have 3 different tiers. They're perfect for earrings because they're designed for earrings, but you can put all other things on them, whether they're crystals or candles, anything works with them. They're perfect. So I use a lot of those. I also have chopping boards that my husband put L brackets and screws on, and that's what I use to display my pendulums and necklaces. People find it a lot easier to see my jewelry, as it's got a nice hard back and the necklaces are clearly shown, and it's also easy for people to just pull off and have a look. If you can't afford things like that, don't stress, because you know everyone's got different budgets and you need to find what works best for you. The other thing to help stand out is theme your displays. As you can see with my business card, it's got the pinks, the black, the white, so I use those sorts of colors with my displays. It also makes it more visually effective, especially if you have a nice big banner behind you. It kind of ties the whole market in. So if you have a stall and your logo is very like black, then try to use more black displays, or try and work the theme with your logo. So the other thing that I did to help make my market stall pop is tablecloths. It's very important that you get the right ones. I used to use just plain white tablecloths and they're not the best. As much as white is, it looks clean and neat, they're very quick to get dirty, especially if you're at a market that's, in a showgrounds. It's kind of like, got dirt everywhere. It's very easy to dirty them. I actually went to Kmart and bought myself a couple of $3 tablecloths. They're just party tablecloths, nothing too special, and they are perfect for what I'm doing. They're just a green checkered tablecloth, and they just work so well because it adds that little bit of greenery that I wanted in a market stall. I used to bring fake plants to give that little greenery, to add that pop of color. But the tablecloths do that for me, so I don't need to bring the greenery, which means I've saved space in my tubs so I can bring more stock. But yeah, tablecloths are a big thing. Some people use black tablecloths, and that's all good to help make the product shine, but depending on what you sell, you want to have a nice, inviting, fresh feel. The other thing about tablecloths as well is you want them to be long enough to hide anything. So with my ones, they're fairly long, so I've got my tables and they cover pretty much right down. So any unwanted tubs or anything you may have, you can slide under your tables and your tablecloth will cover all that. You don't want to tie it too tight and see the legs of the table. You want to cover all of that. It makes it feel more professional and visually looks better, and that's what you want when attracting customers. If you're selling dream catchers or anything that you want to hang from your gazebo, you want to have the right height for people, because if you hang it too high, people are not going to see it. I'm saying that you don't want it to be on the floor, otherwise people are going to miss what you're selling. So I have 2 recommendations for you when hanging items from your gazebo to make sure that people see what you're selling. And number 1 is this thing. I picked this up from a garage sale, but I mean anything that you could hang that's got hooks would work. Basically, you could hang this from your gazebo and then hang items off it. You can also use like all sorts of different hangers. I believe they're for like bags or purses that you can usually put. They're like home decor that you just hang inside your house, but usually they have these little hooks, as you can see here. You can just extend them from your gazebo, so coming down, and they work really great when hanging items off them, like little necklaces or keychains, anything like that that you want to sell and you just want to get off the table. The other thing I would definitely recommend is S hooks. If you don't know what they are, they're basically a metal hook that looks like an S. You hang that over your gazebo, try to get it fairly long, and then hang your item off that. It just gives it the extra length down, so people can walk in and visually see what you're selling that's hanging from the gazebo, because if it's too high, people are not going to see it. They're not looking up, they're not looking down. You want to keep all your items at eye level. When you fully set up a market, depending on how much you have, I would recommend at least 2 to 3 tables. Now, the reason for this is you want to space everything out well. You don't want to just clump everything on 1 or 2 tables, because it looks messy and it's not visually effective. So you want people to walk past and see the different heights and see it kind of spaced out. It feels like you have a lot more, but it looks cleaner and more professional, more laid out better. The best way I find is to do markets. I put myself as a customer. When I go to markets, what are the stalls that I walk into? What do I find like attractive? What do I go, oh, that looks interesting? And you got to think like that, because these are the people you're trying to attract into your market stall. The other thing you definitely don't want to do, trust me, I've made so many mistakes doing this, is just no displays at all and just putting everything very flat. So try to avoid just laying your items out on a table, because it's not going to be very eye-catching. The other thing you really want to do as well when it comes to markets is to clearly price everything. You don't want to not price anything, because a lot of people don't like to ask. I don't know what it is, but yeah, a lot of people find it awkward to ask someone how much something is, because I feel if they ask you and you tell them the price, and you feel more obligated to buy that item, especially if you don't want it or the price is too high. So make sure everything is marked perfectly. If, like I said, if you have too many items, try to use little signs. I use little wooden signs with pegs on it. I used a paint pen and put the price on, so I can just clip it onto what item I'm selling. It's just visually better and more appealing. And, you know, you just want everything to be nicely priced, because you don't want people to feel awkward having to ask you. And the other thing I also find in my experience working and doing markets for the last 10 years is people, they find it awkward to have conversations. So you want to make them feel comfortable in your stall. So just, you know, don't just like jump at them and say, hey, how are you? Like, what do you want? Oh, and just start chatting to them, because they're kind of just there to have a look. So just like let them have a look around and see what you've got for sale. And, you know, if they approach you and say, hey, how are you? Or, you know, they're looking at something, say, good morning, how's your day? But try not to jump at them, because, you know, you don't come off really pushy. The other thing I wanted to mention as well is if you are selling an item that is popular among other stall holders. So, for example, if you have candles in your stall and there's like a couple of other stalls that have candles, try to figure out a way to make your candles stand out from the rest of your stuff to really promote that. I find with my earrings, so many people at my market stall do earrings, especially crystal earrings. So I use my displays and I put the cards in. It just makes it that more visually appealing when they're all displayed on the 3-tier shelf and the cards are sat in. Some of the other stall holders that sell earrings have them on the spinning carousel displays. And people just don't really want to be pulling things off and having a look. They want to be able to just pick something up and put it back quite easily. So I find that the 3-tier earring stands that I got off eBay are very helpful for that. So yeah, with the items that are more popular among other stall holders, try to find a way to make it more visually appealing and make it pop so that it makes your items look a lot better. They are the tips that I have for setting up a market stall. If you have any questions, I'm happy to make another video on that. Anyway, that's it for tonight. Hope you have a great evening and stay safe Until next time, bye everyone.